Hello, here is the news at this hour from Tstv. I am Olaide Amosi. Here are some major headlines. HIJRAH, MAKINDE gives no reason for non-declaration of holiday. Federal government approves 13 billion naira for community policing. And on the foreign scene, China suspends legal assistance agreement between Hong Kong and US. And world of sports, PSG star VERRATTI desperate to play Champions League final. Now the news in details. Oyo State Governor Engineer Seyi Makinde has felicitated with Muslim faithful in the state on account of the new year HIJRAH 1442 AH, which begins today, 21st August 2020. However, the governor, whose felicitation came on the heels of the acceptance of Friday, August 21st as the first day of Muharram 1442 AH by the Sultan of Sokoto and President General of the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, NSCIA, Alhaji Muhammad Saad Abubakar, CFR. He is said to have failed to give an explanation for his failure to declare a public holiday in the state. Newsmen had earlier reported that Makinde has failed to declare a public holiday to mark the beginning of the HIJRAH calendar since he was sworn in May last year. Meanwhile, Oyo State chapter of the National Council of Muslim Youth Organization, NACOMYO, has vowed to mobilize against the re-election of Engineer Seyi Makinde as the governor of Oyo State. The Islamic group disclosed this on Thursday at a special prayer and lecture for the commencement of HIJRAH 1442 in reaction to the failure of the governor to declare a public holiday in the state to celebrate the new HIJRAH calendar. The state coordinator of the group, Alhaji Daoud Afolabi, who stated this in his lecture on the topic, Political Development in Oyo State and the Muslims, also accused the governor of marginalizing Muslims in the state. Oyo State government, in conjunction with an health initiative, has on Thursday launched a campaign tagged Stop Court Project, a project targeted at achieving zero record of female genital mutilation in the state within the next 3 years. Oyo State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Bashir Bello, while delivering his address at a stakeholders roundtable organized by the Health Initiative in respect of the Stop Court Project, held at the Ministry of Health Secretariat Ibadan, said it was high time for the public to put aside cultural beliefs on female organ mutilation, considering its effects on victims. He, however, assured the convener of the project of government support towards realization of this set of goals. The project director, Isaiah Owolabi, who also stated that the health initiative was determined to create a network of active people willing to end female genital mutilation in this era. The federal government is said to have approved 13.3 billion naira for takeoff of community policing initiative, which includes new security plan, which is expected to halt killings, kidnappings, banditry and insurgency in many parts of the country. This was contained in a report submitted to the end of National Economic Council NEC 6th meeting this year, which was virtual except for the attendance of a few of the members at the council chamber of the presidential villa, presided over by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo on Thursday. Disclosing the outcomes of the virtual meeting to State House correspondents, Nasarawa's Governor Abdullahi Sule, who attended the meeting at the villa, said the ad hoc committee met on August 4th to review the escalating security challenges in the country. According to him, there were briefings and a presentation from the National Security Advisor, NSA, Inspector General of Police, IGP, Chief of Defense Staff, and the Department of State Services, DSS, which was headed by Ekiti State Governor Kayode Fayemi, who was also submitted to the council. The Presidential Task Force PTF on COVID-19 is said to have blamed Nigerians for the continued non-compliance with COVID-19 safety protocols, saying it would have flattened the curve, but for the lackadaisical attitude of Nigerians towards containing the pandemic has lamented the increase in COVID-19 case fatalities in the country, disclosing that of the 985 deaths recorded so far, 14 of them were medical doctors who contracted the virus in the line of duty. Mustafa, who disclosed this during the Thursday's briefing of the task force, said the coronavirus continues to display unpredictable characteristics that show its relentless nature on populations that disregard common and simple protective measures, saying it will be extremely selfish for Nigerian youths to continue to flout the safety protocols and carry on without sparing a thought for their safety and those of the vulnerable. Meanwhile, Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika, who reiterated the decision of the federal government to commence international flights as from August 29th, added that Nigeria would implement the principle of reciprocity with countries who have barred Nigerians from flying into their countries, saying those who have barred flights from Nigeria would also not be allowed into the country. Moving on to the foreign scene, China has on Thursday announced it had suspended a mutual legal assistance agreement between Hong Kong and the United States. After Washington earlier announced it had suspended 3 agreements for the territory covering extradition and tax exemptions. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zhao Lijian said the Hong Kong and U.S. Mutual Legal Assistance Agreement on criminal justice would no longer be in force, also condemning interference in China's internal affairs, stating the earlier statement by the Hong Kong government, accusing the United States of using Hong Kong as a pawn in its disputes with China and showing disrespect for bilateralism and multilateralism. Meanwhile, following earlier announcements from Canada, Britain, Australia and New Zealand, all 5 Eyes nations have now suspended their extradition deals with Hong Kong, while France and Germany have also suspended their agreements. Report, however, says the law imposes sentences of up to life imprisonment for subversion, succession, foreign collusion and terrorism, which it broadens to include common protest tactics. Ivory Coast has banned all outdoor protests until September 15th, according to a statement issued on Thursday after deadly clashes ahead of presidential elections in October. The government in a statement said the measure is to draw the consequences of the impact in human and property terms from previous demonstrations and the risk that pockets of inter-community conflicts could open up. Meanwhile, on the 13th of August, protests is said to have erupted in the economic hub, Abidjan, and demonstrations in the central south of Daukura that turned to bloody ethnic clashes after President Alassane Ouattara announced he would bid for a 3rd term. According to an official toll, 3 days of violence led to 6 deaths and about 100 injuries. Additionally, 1,500 people fled their homes, while 69 people were arrested and numerous acts of property damage were also recorded. Moving on to the exciting world of sports, Marco Verratti has announced his readiness to play for Paris Saint-Germain in Sunday's Champions League final against Bayern Munich. A match he describes as the most important 90 minutes in the club's history, Italy midfielder Verratti was said to be unable to play in the quarter-final triumph over Atlanta due to a calf injury that plagued him prior to travelling to Lisbon. The 27-year-old is said to be doing what he can to be involved, but has accepted the final decision lies with head coach Thomas Tuchel. However, PSG has dominated domestically since being bought out by their wealthy Qatari owners in June 2011, including sweeping the board this term. Napoli striker Andrea Petagna is said to have tested positive for coronavirus, which is confirmed by the Serie A club. The 25-year-old, whose brother had earlier returned a positive test, is asymptomatic and quarantined at home. Napoli is said to have signed Petagna in January before loaning him back to his previous club, Spal, for the rest of 2019 and 2020 season. Who has 2 caps for Italy, has recently been linked with a possible move to Arsenal and is said to have scored 28 Serie A goals in the past 2 seasons. With that, we've come to the end of the news. A recap of the headlines. HIJRAH. Makinde gives no reason for non-declaration of holiday. The federal government approves 13 billion naira for community policing. On the foreign scene, China suspends legal assistance agreement between Hong Kong and the US. In the world of sports, PSG star Verratti desperate to play Champions League final. Please do not forget to always adhere to COVID-19 safety measures.
The news was compiled by Mobola Fadikale. I am Olaide Amosi. Good day and thank you for watching.